What's up, everybody? I wanted to jump on here and do a little quick review of the Bitcoin price before I go to bed here. And I gotta wonder, I don't know why the hell I even make these videos. Why would anyone watch them when you can watch someone like Tone Vays or any number of other people who do this speculative analysis, have been doing it a lot longer than I can? You know why you watch me? Because you want the blue collar approach. You want the blue collar process. You're tired of all this academic technical analysis. Look, we got four red candles in a row on the 1, 4, 5, and on the 5, it's not a good, like, all of that technical jargon. You got to think, if it really meant anything, then all these guys would be the wealthiest people in the world. Guess what? They're not. So check this out. Maybe you need a different approach. Maybe you need a blue collar guy with a little horse sense to get into this market and really tell you what's going on. Listen, we just had a bear trap with Bitcoin. I don't know if it's technically a bear trap. You can get on your academic high horse and tell me why some economist said it's not. But I'm going to tell you, when the market starts going down and everybody gets scared and then bam, it comes back up, somebody got fooled. And then this is what happened. And I'll admit, I lost the toe in the bear trap. I was like, when it was around, 8,000 right here, like somewhere in this red candle, I said, I want to take a break from this for a second because I did not like the indicators. You take it back to the weekly, and we were coming down this red candle, and if you just went back a few days, this red candle extended below this one. So it was just this awful sort of indicator that the market was going lower, and then just in a matter of hours, it completely turned around, taking it back to the 4-hour, and you just see that massive reversal. We were hanging out down around 7,400. This is on the Coinbase exchange. And just, last 24 hours have been really, really great in Bitcoin. I'm going to do some drawing some lines here and tell you guys why. When I woke up this morning, I set 9,000 as sort of a target, and I just scalped a little profit. I don't like to trade the whole bag back and forth here, guys. So I am just gonna kind of set a buy order maybe somewhere below 8,000. If it comes back down, grab it at that point, but really just ride with it since I'm in it for the long haul. But anyway, let's get to the charts here. So what I think is most concerning is there's a lot of downward sell pressure at this sort of angle here. You see there's this trend of peaks here, and you put it on the weekly chart and you're going to see that it's still, I'll take that a little lower, but you see what I mean. There's a lot of sort of pressure in that area, and given how steep it is and how we've tested the bottom twice in a fairly short period of time, I'm kind of nervous right now, given that we're above $9,000, and just I don't see enough bull momentum in this market yet to break it anywhere near 11.5, and I think it's going to have a hard time with 10 grand. So let's for just visual reference here, let's draw a horizontal line at 10 grand. Nice, psychological barrier. Realistically, if there's a whole lot of pressure at, say, the 10 grand mark, the price will come up to like 97.5 or something. Like, it never gets all the way to 10 because everyone is planning to sell at 10, and then everyone tries to beat each other, and so it ends up peaking at like 9,800. But either way, that would sort of coincide with this longer term downtrend. What's good for Bitcoin is that we recovered on the daily at a point higher than the initial correction. And also on the weekly chart, it's still just a little bit higher, and that's a good sign. On the weekly chart, later on we could still go below it, but as far as the daily is concerned, definitely seems like there's a little bit of a bottom here. However, temporary. Even if we're going to break through it, it's like, to put it in layman terms, it's like the bear energy momentum to be able to break through the support loses some of its energy. And you'll see, just to represent this with lines, and it's not perfect here, the angle of the correction will be like this, And then when it breaks through, it'll be like that or something. It'll still go down, but it'll eventually, follow my cursor here, kind of round out as it finds its bottom, and then so on and so forth. And so the $1 million question with Bitcoin is, where is that trading range going to be? And, you know, a few weeks ago, I'm going to show you what I had speculated, and I had kind of abandoned that, and now I'm sort of back on board with it given the action today, which was something like a range like this. And it's a little more clear what I'm going after on the daily chart, so I'm just going to show you here. Okay, now there is this phenomenon called pressure turn support. I talk about it a lot. We had our run up, then our crash, broke through it, and we just sort of established that range here. So we're like back on course. If you look at, if you think of Bitcoin on a bull trend that is much longer, like several years going out, and you think of the recent run up as sort of just an anomaly pump up, like if you look at the NASDAQ chart from the .com bubble, it goes way up, it comes back down, and it just takes a while, and then eventually moves way back up. So something like that going on. But realistically, if I had to venture some kind of bet with it, here I come with my speculative segments. This is a blue collar favorite. All right. This is my prediction. You know, it has a few good days. It gets up to 9,800. And then there's way too much pressure at 10,000. And we come back down like this. And here comes the big question is, will this buy support hold? And if we're testing so frequent, like boom, boom, and it's getting tighter, sort of an indicator that something like this might happen. And at this point, the concern is, are we gonna double bottom with the initial drop at 6,500, like on the daily? Are we only gonna go back down to 8,000? Like, you know, you take this to the weekly. We've seen this double bottom. Are we gonna hit it again? And it's only gonna be 8,000, but realistically, guys, I would not be surprised if Bitcoin has further to come down in the next few months before the Lightning Network is being, I guess, used more often, and the sentiment turns around. There's still too much fear in this. So, taking you back to the daily here. I do think that this bottom here will hold. Like, we might test it again, like say like at the 4-hour chart, like something like this, as we get to the end of May, as the bear market fully consolidates. But I think eventually, you know, maybe it won't be this steep, but or it'll do one of those things where it like heads down like this. Then, see, I wish I would have gone to some kind of school so I knew what these are actually called, so I didn't have to go one of these little like hook thingies where it comes down real quick and everybody gets scared and all that nonsense. And then like, oh, I didn't mean to turn that green. And then it just like V's right back up. Like right here, for example, it's like coming down. Okay, might hit. Okay, little, maybe doesn't. Whoa, you know what I'm saying? It's the same sort of thing. It gets back up there. It meets that trend, you know, that I had the ray for. Capitulates, fights, gives up, comes back. That's my prediction. You know, taking this out longer, I think Bitcoin is sort of destined to do something like that. Just based on the news, the sentiment, the fact that at the G20, they aren't planning to discuss regulating it. So it's currently not on the regulation radar as much. Now, keep in mind, guys, that can change. But man, this is how it's gonna work. Boom. It'll find its way. Sometimes it's fun to look at Bitcoin on the log chart. If you've never done this, go do it. It's fun. Dang, I need the Bitstamp one. log chart. $12, 170 times 61, 900, 20,000. It's just kind of, this is the chart that all the guys look at where they're like, Bitcoin's going to be 100 grand by, you know, whatever the hell, like 2022, right? This is what they're looking at. They're looking at the log chart for Bitcoin, and they're just drawing the base bull trend. And they're like, okay, we're going to have, Bitcoin is going to stay on this bull trend in the log chart. It's going to go up and it's going to come back to it until it emerges as a technology. The question is, when is this going to end, right? It can't go on forever. Bitcoin, for example, let's say it tries to reach the market capitalization of gold, which is a like sort of a long-term, very ambitious sort of goal for the community. Right now, that would be 500 grand. And so these guys who talk about it, they put their horizontal line there. They look at the trend and they go, okay, 2023. And the thing about Bitcoin is, like, for the last, if you've been looking at this since 2016, you've been able to make predictions based on this trend. And if you get in a little tighter, if you're just on the log chart, since April, it's there were guys doing the calculations like here on the, and picking their spots, and they made a lot of money. And you know, there's people who like longer term guys thinking that we're gonna just V down in a 2019 is going to be the I should say 2018 is going to be the sort of consolidation, find your middle ground accumulation phase for Bitcoin, sort of not unlike 2015. You know, like at some point, you know, we're at the conventional wisdom is the correction from this point will not be as steep as the fiasco that coincided with like Mt. Gox and everything, but we'll see some effects similar to this where you'll have the blow off from all the mania in the market. But realistically, I think something like that, for example. Anyway, this is blue collar speculation. This is all, you know, up in the air. If you're planning on getting into Bitcoin, be careful. I wouldn't recommend doing it today. Keep your eyes on the market. If in the next few days you see it somehow below 8 grand, maybe. But honestly, I'm too tired to be doing this. I'm going to bed.